The call came during a quarterly review. My assistant slipped me the phone with a whisper about police. They said Jason was in custody and I needed to come down. Jason, the nephew I'd legally taken in 3 months ago. He was handcuffed to a bench in the precinct hallway, leaning back, rhythmically tapping his head against the wall. His shirt was torn, hanging off one shoulder. Dried blood streaked his jaw. On his collarbone, a small red birthmark stood out like a deliberate provocation. When the officer led me past, Jason looked up. A slow, calculated smile spread across his face. "Uncle," he said, the words soft and feather-light. I didn't react. The first time I'd found him, after my stepsister Julia's funeral, I tried. I told him I was family now. He just smirked and told me to get lost. Now he needed me. I was uncle. The detective laid photos on the table between us. A large, muscular young man. The graphic nature of the injury was clear. The victim's name was Lucas. Jason had used a knife. I asked for the reason. The detective's expression shifted, becoming carefully neutral. He explained that Jason claimed Lucas had attempted to assault him. Something cold settled in my gut. I thought of that birthmark again. Jason was dangerously beautiful. It wasn't a wholesome attractiveness. It was a look that promised trouble, a magnet for the wrong kind of attention. For someone with no one, it was a liability. After negotiating his release, I found him in the hallway. The officer removed the cuffs. Jason immediately stood straight, offering a polite, "Thank you, sir," to the retreating cop. Then he turned that brilliant, hollow smile back on me. "Thanks, uncle." I stepped closer, ignoring the act. His face was a mess. I cupped his chin, tilting it toward the harsh fluorescent light. His left cheek was swollen, his lips split. He shrugged it off, saying he'd been hit. I asked about his mouth. He seemed genuinely confused. The lip was probably just busted in the scuffle. That was something. I released him, looking away. Just protect that face. It was the only thing he had of value. To me, his smile didn't waver. "You like my face, uncle?" I did. He looked so much like Julia. She'd been my stepsister for a few years when we were teenagers. She'd been the one to make me dinner when no one else did, the one who showed up for parent-teacher conferences. I'd been a lonely kid. I'd had a crush on her. She'd been beautiful. She'd dated plenty, never me. When she was 19, she left with some guy. I never saw her again until a lawyer called about her will, asking me to take in her son. I hadn't wanted to, until I saw him. The driver had already gotten antiseptic and bandages. Jason slid into the car, putting as much distance between us as the leather seats allowed. He stared out the window, his voice flat. "Will I go to prison?" I told him I'd hire lawyers, that it would be handled, as long as he behaved. I warmed the ointment between my palms and told him to come closer. He hesitated, then shuffled a few inches. It wasn't enough. Impatient, I reached over and pulled him by the arm. He lost his balance, tumbling sideways until his head landed in my lap, his injured cheek exposed. The position was awkward, intimate, but it would do. I pressed my palm against the heat of his bruised face. He went rigid. His breath warmed the fabric of my trousers, a sensation that felt far too deliberate. I worked the ointment in quickly, wanting it over with. My hand slipped, nudging his head closer. I froze. My fingers tightened on his jaw, forcing him to look up. "What are you doing?" He wet his cracked lips, gaze lowered. Long lashes cast shadows. "Helping," he murmured. Then softer, "Is this being good, uncle?" The title was a taunt. We'd met only twice before this. The last time was at a downtown club. He'd been on a platform behind a bar, dancing in just a pair of low-slung jeans while bills were tucked into his waistband. He knew his power. He'd reveled in it, driving the crowd wild, then tried to slip away untouched. A group of men hadn't liked that. I'd found him in an alley, outnumbered but still fighting, a feral desperation in his eyes. I'd gotten him out. His thanks had been a cold glance. When I'd grabbed his arm to ask where he lived, he turned, that beautiful face arranged in a sneer. What you want to turn to? He'd hooked his thumbs in his belt loops, a challenge in his stance. Finish up, will you get me a cab? I'd let him go, telling him to get lost. Jason lived on a knife's edge. Every time I saw him, he was about to fall. Now, in the car, anger surged. I fisted a hand in his hair, forcing him to look at me, at the cut on his mouth. I asked him how many people he'd played this game with. His eyes flickered, a crack in the facade. He tried for a careless laugh, asking if I thought he was dirty. I looked down at him, my voice dropping to something cold and deliberate. Was this how you got Lucas going? I thought you were the victim. Maybe you were just asking for it. The smile vanished. His eyes turned to ice. What did you say? He shoved against me, trying to rise. I pushed him back down into the seat, leaning over him, my weight pinning him. I loosened my tie. I told the driver to pull over and take a walk. When the car was still and silent, I tore the remains of Jason's shirt open. Real panic flashed in his eyes then. He struggled, demanding to know what I was doing. I didn't answer. I used strips of the ruined fabric to bind his wrists, pushing them above his head against the seat. My legs pinned his. My hand moved from his throat downward. He was young, lean muscle under smooth skin. My fingers traced not just the fresh bruises, but a topography of older wounds. Slashes, punctures, round scars that could only be cigarette burns. Julia had told me once, drunk and weeping, that the man she'd run off with had a temper. She'd escaped. Seemed Jason had absorbed all that rage. When I unbuckled his jeans, he began to breathe in ragged gasps. His eyes were red, blazing with a hatred so pure it was almost physical. He swore he'd kill me. I leaned close, my voice a low rasp. I told him if he was going to trade on his body, he shouldn't be surprised when someone finally collected. I pulled my belt free. He watched, panting, but stopped struggling. He was planning, I knew. Lucas in the photos had been bigger than me. Jason had taken him apart. He was capable of anything. His problem was he thought that made him invincible. I folded the leather, then brought it down sharply across his abdomen. Pale skin bloomed red. I asked him if he understood his mistake. He stared, chest heaving, silent. The next strike landed on his thigh. I asked who taught him to use himself as a weapon. His gaze dropped to my waist, then jerked away. His ears flushed crimson. Some of the fight seemed to drain from him. I took it as progress. I used the tip of the belt to lift his chin. Are you scared now? If I really wanted to hurt you, you couldn't stop me. You think your little act works on everyone? You keep walking in the dark, you'll meet something worse. If you don't want to be used, start by valuing yourself. No one will do it for you. He was quiet for a long moment. Then a low, bitter laugh escaped him. He asked what I could possibly know about it. His voice cracked. He asked me what gave me the right to lecture him about being valued. From the moment he was born, no one had. He wanted to know who taught him to be ruthless. No one did. You learn, he said, when everyone around you looks at you and sees something to take. He just wanted to survive. Was that a crime? Was he just supposed to accept being a target? His words hung in the air. I didn't notice he'd worked his hands free until he shoved me back with surprising force, reversing our positions. He was on top of me, his hands framing my face. His touch was gentle, but his voice was winter. And what about you? You're no better. You like this face too, don't you? He reached for the door handle. I caught his wrist. I'll teach you, I said, the words leaving me before I could think. I'll value you. Okay. He went still. He turned away, his back to me, silent. Julia had once said she'd been a sister to me for 3 years, but never a mother to her own son. She wasn't a good person, but she'd been decent to me. She'd kept me from spiraling when I was an angry, lost teenager. I saw myself in Jason. The difference was someone had pulled me back. No one had ever pulled him back. A long time later, a hoarse whisper came from the shadowed corner of the seat. He said he hadn't. He hadn't helped anyone, not like that. He'd drawn all his sharp edges in, exposing something soft and vulnerable. He kept his face turned away, as if ashamed. "I'm clean," he murmured. "I'm not dirty." I sat there, stunned. For the first time, I felt like the monster. He glanced over, his eyes skimming down, then quickly back to the window. His throat worked. "And your zipper's down," he mumbled. "You shouldn't undo your belt if you're not going to use it." I was profoundly grateful for my wealth in that moment, because fixing Jason's problems was expensive. Lucas's family was compensated. The legal fees were staggering. I also learned Jason had been expelled the previous week. He'd hit a school security guard with a shot put. Not just hit him. The guard, it was whispered, had been kind to Jason, sometimes buying him lunch. People said Jason was ungrateful. They said the guard had probably wanted something in return. They called Jason names, their smiles suggesting he'd gotten what he'd asked for. Jason's words echoed. You learn when everyone around you looks at you and sees something to take. He'd been furious when he realized I'd looked into his past. He'd confronted me, eyes wide and wounded, demanding if I was going to abandon him now. He was like a stray cat, all hiss and bristle, but so easy to soothe with a gentle hand. I told him I wouldn't. His defenses crumpled. He'd begged me not to believe the rumors. Give him a little warmth, and he cherished it like a rare gift. It hurt, that fragility. I found a new private school for him. The night before his first day, I came home late from a client dinner. He helped me to bed. As he tried to leave, I caught his arm and pulled him down. I told him about the school, that he should study, get a good job, maybe support his old uncle someday. I told him if anyone gave him trouble, to come to me. He had an uncle now. I held him, sighing into his hair. I told him it wasn't his fault. He went very still, kneeling by the bed, his head on my chest. Then a sharp pain bloomed over my heart. He'd bitten me. I grabbed his hair, pulling him back, ready to yell, and stopped. His face was a mess of silent tears. His jaw clenched as if holding back a scream. I let go, swiping a thumb over his wet cheek. It was futile. I asked, half amazed, how he could possibly produce so many tears. He fisted his hands in my shirt, his voice wrecked. Michael, you can't be this good to me. I'm begging you. Don't. If I get attached to you, you're finished. I brushed it off, patting his head, telling him to show some respect, to call me uncle. He was silent for a beat. Then he nuzzled against my chest, his lips in a terribly awkward place. He muttered that we weren't really related. His breath was hot through my shirt. I was dizzy, my thoughts foggy with alcohol. I carted my fingers through his hair and told him to stop, that it was ticklish. He undid a button, his hand slipping inside to rest on my chest. He asked where it tickled. He said he could scratch it for me, but his touch only made the feeling worse. After starting at the new school, Jason seemed to improve. He stopped going to the clubs. He wasn't getting into fights. So I was unprepared when, at a business dinner, an associate leaned over with a smirk. That nephew of yours is something else. Remember that hostess you helped at the Platinum Room a few months back? The one who looked a bit like your late sister? She came by your office to thank you, then suddenly left town. Your boy paid her a visit. Don't know what he said, but she was gone within the week. I laughed it off, but a cold knot formed in my stomach. Later, I quietly told my assistant to look into it, to provide compensation if it was true. I didn't want the report. I chose to believe they were wrong. Jason was just a kid. That night, I came home to find him in my bed, wearing one of my old Oxford shirts and nothing else, reading a thick book with a serious red cover. A book on criminal law, I realized. He'd bought it after the Lucas incident. He looked up, his smile bright and welcoming. Uncle, you're back. He was too clingy, always wanting to share my space. I thought it was insecurity. Now, it felt different. I eyed his bare legs with a headache building. "Can you put on pants?" I sighed, then noticed the shirt again. "And is that my shirt? My favorite one?" He nodded, lifting the hem. "The boxers are yours too." I felt a vain throb in my temple. "That's not appropriate. We don't share clothes like that." He flinched, looking down.
I'm sorry.
"My laundry's not done. I didn't have anything clean. I didn't mean to make you angry." His voice was small. My anger deflated. He did own very little. I'd been busy. I failed to notice. I told him I wasn't mad, that I'd buy him more clothes tomorrow. When I looked up, he was already pulling the shirt over his head. His body was a sculpture of lean muscle, pale and flawless in the lamplight. His fingers hooked in the waistband of the boxers. My mind went blank. I grabbed his wrist. "Go to your own room to change." He tilted his head, a sly smile playing on his lips. "Why? We're both guys. I don't care if you see. We're adults. It's about boundaries. You said you weren't interested in me, so what's the problem?" I countered. He leaned closer. His dark eyes held mine, our breaths mingling. "Or are you scared to look, Uncle?" For a second, I was trapped in that gaze, my heart stuttering. I shoved him back. "Stop acting like some seductive phantom. Rein it in. I'm your uncle." He didn't trust me. He was always testing, probing my reactions. If I showed the slightest desire, I suspected he'd castrate me as efficiently as he had Lucas. His early life had taught him that any man's kindness came with a price. I'd spent months trying to prove him wrong, and he still didn't believe my care was genuine. It was frustrating, infuriating. I told him flatly I wasn't interested, that not every man was drawn to him. He looked up, his gaze intense. "Why not me? Am I not good enough?" "The world isn't full of gay men, Jason. I'm straight." He stared at me, something like anger and confusion flashing in his eyes. He pressed his lips together, slid off the bed barefoot, and walked to the door. He paused, hand on the knob, not looking back. "Uncle, do you want these boxers back? Throw them out. I couldn't wear them after this." His knuckles whitened on the doorknob. "I'm not dirty," he said so low I almost missed it. "I haven't been with anyone." I frowned, not catching it. "What?" He shook his head, a gesture of profound defeat. "Nothing." Before closing the door, he delivered a final, petty blow. "Your boxers are too small anyway. They're tight. If you're buying, get me a larger size." I never asked him about the hostess. I wanted to preserve the fragile fiction of our family bond. When he went to college, I bought him an apartment near campus, hoping it would foster independence. Visiting him one afternoon, I saw him arguing with a slender, intense-looking man on the quad. Jason's expression was pure fury. When I asked, he brushed it off. "Another creep," he said. He could handle it. He told me not to come by so much. The man's stare had been unnerving, possessive. Couldn't shake it. I told Jason to clear out a room at my place, that he was moving back in temporarily. While packing, he found my wallet. He pulled out a faded picture tucked deep inside. He stared at it, his voice flat. "Why do you have a photo of my mom in here?" I froze. I'd almost forgotten it was there. I snatched it back, saying it was none of his business, that I kept it in my study. "Those letters in your desk," he pressed on, standing in the shadow of the doorway. "They were for her, weren't they? Love letters." I looked at him sharply, a deep, private shame unveiled. I demanded to know why he was going through my things. "Michael," he said, his voice eerily calm. "You're so good to me. Is it because of my face? Because I look like her?" He paused, letting the implication hang. "Is that what this is? An extension of your obsession with Julia? You couldn't have her, so you're raising her son? Do you just collect people who look like her?" A phone rang, saving me. I stood, brushing past him. I told him not to be ridiculous, that I genuinely saw him as family. He let out a cold, bitter laugh. "Family? We share no blood. Do you think I ever wanted to be your damn nephew? His words were a physical blow. I gripped the phone, my hand trembling with the urge to strike him. I walked away. Company troubles consumed me. A liquidity crisis. I had no energy for Jason's drama. When an old rival, Chloe, proposed a merger through marriage, I didn't refuse. Her logic was sound. I was easy to manage, and she was certain I'd never develop feelings for her. After 8 years of fierce competition, the idea of being with her was absurd. It was purely business. And part of me wanted Jason to see it. To know I was moving on, that I wasn't clinging to the ghost of his mother. I was terrified he saw me as just another predator, like that school guard. I wanted to be a proper uncle. I would stick to that role. I didn't see Jason for days after the engagement was announced. Then I ran into him at the mall. Chloe was on my arm, pointing at a diamond bracelet. "Michael, darling, I want this one," she said, her voice sweet. Jason's eyes locked onto her hand, touching me. His smile was dazzling, brittle. "Uncle, is this my new aunt?" I flinched, nearly shaking Chloe off. Under his gaze, I felt inexplicably guilty. Jason looked Chloe up and down. "She's okay. Not as pretty as my mom." He turned his devastating smile fully on her. "Ma'am, do you think I'm handsome?" Chloe was visibly stunned by him, nodding mutely. His smile grew sharper. "My mom and I looked alike. She was Michael's first love. Do you think you can replace her?" He sounded like a jealous lover, unhinged. I couldn't tolerate it. My hand moved before I could think, the crack of the slap echoing in the open atrium. "Apologize," I said, my voice cold. "I didn't raise you to be disrespectful." The color drained from his face. His hair fell over his eyes. He didn't look at me. "I'm sorry," he whispered. The words choked. Then he turned and walked away, his steps hurried, as if fleeing a scene of disaster. Chloe watched him go. He looked like he was about to cry. My hand tingled, nerves firing uncontrollably. Chloe sighed. "Such a beautiful face. You actually hit it. Next time, let me do it." My mind was chaos. Had I failed him so completely? That night, I drank too much at a client dinner. My assistant asked where to take me. "Jason's," I slurred. I was half carried upstairs, dumped on a bed. A warm breath ghosted over my ear. "Michael, look at me. I'm not so bad either." I was burning up. I pushed the presents away, stumbled to the bathroom, and was violently sick. Hands hauled me up by my collar. "Michael," the voice was raw, pained. "Are you really so disgusted by me?" In my blurred vision, I saw eyes red with a desperate, self-destructive misery. "Is it just because I'm a man? Would any woman be fine?" He let go, retreating. I washed up, then collapsed on the sofa, fumbling for a cigarette. I must have dozed off. A voice called my name. I opened my eyes. A tall woman in a white dress stood in the doorway. My heart stopped. "Julia?" I rasped, rubbing my eyes. "You're alive?" She came closer, knelt, touched my face. I looked up, mesmerized. She leaned in and kissed me. Her lips were soft, moving to my jaw, my throat. Something felt wrong.
He pushed her shoulders.
"No." She bit my earlobe, whispering it was a dream. Of course, it was a dream. Her hands were hot, sliding under my shirt, trailing lower. She was surprisingly strong, holding me, touching me everywhere. I was captured. An instrument played with wild, feverish skill. I woke in agony. Groping for my phone, my fingers met smooth, warm skin. I bolted upright, my back protesting. I yanked the covers back. Jason lay beside me, asleep. His chest and back were a map of scratches. His shoulder bore teeth marks. He stirred, voice thick with sleep. "Where are you going?" I was frozen. He opened his eyes, a cynical smile touching his lips. "It's exactly what you think. You don't remember?" He sat up, the sheet pooling at his waist. "You were drunk." I brought you to bed. You grabbed me, started kissing me, touching me. I tried to fight you off, but you're stronger. He pointed to the corner of his mouth. See? You did that. His voice hitched, theatrically. What do we do now? I've never with anyone. You were my first. I listened, numb. I pressed my fingers to my throbbing temples. I need a minute. In the bathroom, under harsh light, I saw the evidence on my own body. Bites, bruises, marks in places no one should have touched. I remembered. I didn't black out. The dress, the hair. It was all Jason. I'd known halfway through, but I hadn't stopped. He'd been relentless, expert. Damn him. It failed. I turned him into this. I opened the door. He was leaning against the wall, waiting. Last night was a mistake, I said, my voice toneless. I was drunk. Let's pretend it never happened. I'm still your uncle. His pupils dilated in shock. He repeated the words as if they were foreign. Pretend it never happened? His voice rose. How? What kind of uncle fucks his nephew? I asked him what he wanted then. Be with me. He burst out, the pretense gone. You're not my real uncle. It wouldn't matter. I told him I wasn't interested in men, and that he knew exactly how last night had happened. I told him I'd tried to keep us clean, and he'd ruined it. Anger made me cruel. Be with you? So you can dress up and pretend to be your mother for the rest of your life? Something in his eyes shattered. I couldn't bear it and turned away. I took 2 steps toward the closet before he was on me, slamming me into the wall. One hand pinned my wrists, the other gripped my face. His legs trapped mine as he forced me down into a brutal, punishing kiss. He didn't flinch when I bit his lip, swallowing the coppery taste of his blood, stealing my air until I saw stars. When he finally pulled back, he was panting, a triumphant, almost childlike glee on his face. You're lying, he gasped, pressing against me. Michael, you like that. You like me. He nuzzled my throat, his voice turning churmy. You do. Last night, you were so eager. You held on to me. You liked it. Rage and shame boiled over. I shoved a knee up, driving it into his stomach. He folded with a grunt. I yanked his head up by the hair. I'm a normal man, Jason. Anyone kisses me like that, I'll react. It's biology, not love. I patted his bruised cheek. Get a grip. Stop being pathetic. He crouched on the floor, clutching his stomach, shaking. I don't believe you, he hissed, stubborn, desperate. You knew it was me last night. You're not straight. You just don't like me. He trembled violently, a new horror dawning on his face. He looked up, lost. Is it because you think I'm dirty? His eyes went wild. That's it, isn't it? You think I'm used. You won't let me wear your clothes. You throw away anything I touch. He was on his knees now, tears streaming. His expression twisted with a bewildered hatred. Why won't you believe me? No one else has touched me. I'm not dirty. I'm not sick. Don't marry her. Don't throw me away. I stared, shaking with fury. After all I'd done. After years of protecting him, worrying over him. This was his repayment? This manipulative, self-destructive scheme? He was trampling my care and destroying himself in the process. Cut him out. No calls. No visits. I teach him a lesson. 2 days before the wedding, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. His voice was strained, broken. Michael, East Street, the Velvet Lounge. They drugged me. Help. Please, Michael. The line went dead. I cursed, calling his number over and over as I ran for my car. I found him in a back booth, already half undressed by the same slender man from the college campus. I saw red. I grabbed a bottle from a nearby table and brought it down on the man's head. He crumpled. I kicked him once for good measure. On the couch, Jason writhed, his skin flushed, his hands fumbling at his own waistband. He moaned my name. He knew he was bait, and I was the predictable fish. Furious, I hauled him up and slapped him hard. "Are you even conscious?" He blinked, dazed, then leaned forward to lick the palm I'd struck him with. Disgusted, I hit him again, then threw him over my shoulder. In the car, as I tried to put him in the back seat, he hooked an arm around my neck and pulled me in, kicking the door shut behind us. He pushed me down onto the leather, a frenzied, clumsy weight, covering my face in wet kisses, his breath fever-hot. "Michael, don't marry her," he begged between kisses, his hands everywhere. "Please, love me instead. Please, I'm prettier than she is. If you like women, I can dress up. I'll do it better." He choked on a sob. "I'll look just like her." His strength was staggering. I fought, sweating, cursing him with every vile name I could summon. I called him an animal, an ingrate. I reduced him to tears. He cried even as he pushed my clothes aside, his tears smearing on my skin. "I know I'm terrible," he wept, not stopping. "But I want you. Scolding me won't change it." He took me with a frantic, possessive fury. He was the one doing the taking, yet he wept as if he were the one being broken. "Don't hate me," he pleaded into my shoulder, his voice thick with despair. "Don't hate me, okay? It's your fault. So many people want me. Why don't you? Am I not good enough? Would it kill you to want me just a little? Why can't you love me?" I turned my face into the seat, my fingers digging into the leather, my words fractured. "Jason, I'm your uncle." I gritted my teeth. "And you have plenty of people who love you. You don't need mine." I'd seen his admirers. I dealt with the stalkers, the obsessed. I remembered the disgust in his eyes when he looked at them. So I'd held back. I gave him family, not passion. He needed an uncle's steady warmth, not another frantic lover. His tears dripped onto my neck. "I don't want the world's love," he whispered. "I want yours. Can't all the love in the world just be yours?" I shuddered at the words, biting my lip to stay silent. He kept talking, a delirious monologue. "Don't blame me. I told you not to be so good to me. You didn't listen." He kissed the hollow of my throat. "So you deserve this." After serving as his reluctant remedy, I left before he woke. I didn't know how to face him. I went to see Chloe to call off the merger. She was unsurprised. She named a figure for half my company's shares. It was a lifeline. As I was leaving, she smirked. "I knew it was over the day you hit him. You looked like you'd cut your own hand off, like a guilty husband caught cheating. Tell me, did you run after him and beg?" I left without a word. Money was hard to earn. A week passed with no word from Jason. The anger curdled into a sullen resentment. Once the crisis passed, I buried myself in work, staying at the office all night. If I was busy, I wouldn't think about him. He was too dangerous up close. After 3 all-nighters, my assistant forcibly drove me home. Not to my empty penthouse, but to Jason's apartment building. I refused to get out. I wasn't ready. My assistant pointed out the window. "Boss, if you don't go down there, your nephew's going to kiss someone else." I looked. Under a street lamp, Jason was backed against the brick wall by that same gaunt man. The man leaned in. Something tore inside me. I was out of the car and shouting his name before I could think. Jason looked up, startled. He shoved the man away violently, a flash of panic on his face. I stormed over, hauling the man back by his collar. "What's wrong with you?" I yelled at Jason. "Where's that famous fighting spirit?" "Huh?" Jason wasn't listening. He was staring past me, his eyes widening in alarm. He lunged, shoving me aside. I turned in time to see him catch the blade of a small fruit knife in his bare hand. He wrenched it free and kicked the attacker to the ground in one fluid motion. The man, Marcus, I later learned, lay there, clutching his bleeding arm, looking up at Jason with a psychotic devotion. "Why?" Marcus wailed. "Why protect him? He doesn't understand you. We're the same. I love you." Another one. The same one from the club. I stripped off my shirt, wrapping Jason's bleeding hand with clumsy tenderness. Then I picked up a loose piece of pavement. I walked over and brought it down on Marcus's head. My boy. I'd never laid a hand on him in anger. How dare this waste of space hurt him? I hit him again before Jason caught my arm. Michael, he said quietly, it hurts. Let's go to the hospital. In the car, I asked for an explanation. He stared out the window, his voice devoid of emotion. It's the usual. You've seen it before. He was just persistent. Why didn't you fight him off earlier? I demanded. Jason could have. The fact Marcus got that close meant Jason allowed it. He turned to look at me, a faint, bitter smile on his lips. Why should I? You don't want me. I thought I should try seeing if I could stand someone else. You're right. Plenty of people love me. Why bother with you? My hands clenched on the wheel. My heart felt squeezed, aching. So that was it. His professed love had an expiration date. I shouldn't have been surprised. I knew how many wanted him. I knew he belonged to no one. But it stung. I'd raised him. Why couldn't he be mine? The silence was oppressive. Jason broke it, his tone flat. Michael, I'll stop. I'll be good. I'll just be your nephew. My foot pressed harder on the accelerator. No, I said, the word ripping from me. You don't get to decide that now. Not after clinging to me, not after everything. I was almost there. Why couldn't you just hold on a little longer? Jason studied my face intently. Michael, he said slowly. Are you angry? I laughed, a harsh sound. My eyes burned. Why would I be angry? I overstepped. You're grown. You don't need me. Michael, he interrupted softly. Are you crying? I slammed on the brakes. Who's crying? He leaned in, peering at my face. Your eyes are red. I opened my mouth, then looked away, defeated. He sighed, a soft, weary sound. He turned my face back to him. Elite. I don't like anyone else. I wasn't trying anything. His name is Marcus. He threatened you. You're my only weakness. I had to be careful. His thumb brushed the corner of my eye. Michael, do you care for me? Even a little? The denial died on my lips. I'd lived nearly 30 guarded years. He was just a kid, and he was laying everything bare. Did I? Yes. I also hated him a little. For his beauty, his intensity, his ruthless refusal to give me an exit. I was going insane. I looked at him, my gaze darkening. I cupped the back of his neck and pulled him in, sealing my mouth over his in a brief, biting kiss. Brat, I murmured against his lips. His eyes lit up. He kissed me back, deep and claiming. Being with Jason was a sweet burden. I became possessive, paranoid. I lectured him constantly about safety, about ignoring strangers. I told him we had money, that we could handle any legal fallout as long as he was safe. He'd listen quietly, sometimes pulling down his scarf to kiss me, stopping my worried words. Michael, he'd say, his gaze steady and warm. Don't worry. I love you. I'll always love you. He knew my fears and tried to soothe them. But his admirers were legion. My jealousy grew. My possessiveness became a mirror of his. I saw rivals everywhere. I once yelled at him over a female classmate he was just doing a project with. I slapped him in the heat of the argument. He didn't even flinch. He just smiled and asked what I wanted for dinner. Tomato basil pasta? He'd bought fish because I'd mentioned craving it last week. My anger dissolved into shame. I pulled him close, burying my face in his shoulder, muttering apologies. He kissed my hair. It's okay. Don't apologize, Michael. It's okay. I know. I understand. He held me tighter, his voice dropping to a plea. Just, can you hold on a little longer? Don't apologize. Don't give up on me. So he felt it too. The instability. He just shouldered the weight of both our insecurities in silence. I held him, my tears soaking into his shirt. I promised I wouldn't let go. ever. It wasn't an empty promise. When Marcus, released on bail, kidnapped me, I meant it. Tied to a chair, I tried to throw my own throat onto his knife. I'd rather die than watch Jason be forced. Marcus jerked the blade away just in time. Jason didn't look at me. He just started unbuttoning his shirt, walking slowly toward Marcus, who backed away nervously, ordering him to stop. Jason smiled, a chilling, seductive expression. He asked how else Marcus was supposed to kiss him. He shrugged off his shirt. He reached for Marcus as if to embrace him. I shut my eyes, praying for death. A scream tore through the room. Warm blood sprayed my face. I opened my eyes. Jason stood over Marcus, holding the knife. Marcus clutched a bloody stump, howling on the floor. Jason looked down at him, his face utterly blank. He touched his own cheek. "You like this face?" He whispered, almost to himself. "What good is it? It only ever hurts him." He raised the knife, studying the blade. Then, with terrifying calm, he dragged it down his own face. I screamed into my gag, thrashing against the ropes, my vision blurring with tears. "No! Jason, no! Please!" I heard Marcus sobbing in horror. Jason looked at him, his face a mask of blood. "I will never forgive you." Marcus went to prison. Jason went to the hospital. My assistant later told me the scarring would be significant. He said Jason wanted to see me. I finished signing a document. "Just ensure he's provided for. Don't report on him to me again." My assistant hesitated. "Sir, he's outside." From his hospitalization to his discharge, I never visited. Later, he began to appear. Outside my condo, near my office, on my usual routes. He wore black, a hat, a mask, a silent shadow. He never approached. If I turned, he'd vanish. One evening, taking out the trash, I saw some neighborhood kids throwing rocks at a figure hunched on a bench. Jason. He didn't move, didn't shield himself. I dumped the bag and turned to go inside. I heard their taunts. "Freak. Monster. Ugly. Get out of our neighborhood." I spun around, strode over, and grabbed the two boys by their collars, shoving them aside. "He's a monster?" I hissed. "You throw rocks at him, and real monsters will come to your houses tonight and eat you in your sleep." They ran off, wailing. I turned to the stone-still figure on the bench. "I taught you to fight back," I said, my voice cold. He didn't move. It was I who couldn't stand it. The sight of him, broken and accepting it, ignited a fury deeper than any I'd felt. "Jason, I cared for you for 4 years. I can't understand what kind of cruelty lets you destroy something I spent 4 years loving. If you can't learn to value yourself, stay away from me. Forever." He remained motionless. As I turned, I heard his whisper.
"I'm sorry."
It was so helpless, so Wei. My heart gave a painful, tender squeeze. Enough. Michael, stop torturing him. If he couldn't learn, it was my fault for not teaching him better. How long could I hate him? I was done fighting it. I turned back, grabbed the front of his jacket, and hauled him to his feet. I dragged him upstairs, into my apartment, and pushed him against the closed door. My eyes searched his, seeing only misery and avoidance. My heart ached violently. 6 months of silence had done this. My hands shook as I reached for him. I touched his face through the mask, then pushed it aside to kiss his fingers, guiding them beneath the fabric to trace the ruined landscape of his cheek. Tears fell from my eyes. When I tried to pull the mask down, he caught my hand. "This ugly," he rasped. I held his gaze. "You can't hide from me forever." He stared, then slowly, as if bracing for a blow, let his hand fall and closed his eyes. I removed the mask. I looked at the scars, every brutal line. Then I leaned in and kissed them. I kissed his trembling. I kissed his tears. I whispered his name against his skin, telling him I wanted him, that I still wanted him. Jason still cried easily. He held on to me as if I were the only thing keeping him from drowning. He wept, saying he wasn't beautiful anymore, that no one would love him now, only me. His tears and sweat scalded me. He begged me not to let go. I kissed his eyes, holding him so tight I feared I'd break us both. I wouldn't let go. Never. Don't cry, Jason, I murmured into his hair. If the world won't love you anymore, then I will love you enough for all of it.